Hello everybody. So, figured out an overhead setup this evening that can hopefully replicate without getting incredibly angry. It's a little bit janky, but it seems to be working pretty good. I don't know if it will work for all the applications I'm thinking of, but at least for this one, I think it does the job. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can tell from like the lines on my coffee table here, but you're like a little bit cockeyed, kind of tilted back in this direction. So if we cared about things skewing, that would be a problem, but I don't care about that this evening. So what I was thinking to do tonight is to cut my nails and put on some nail polish. As you can see kind of from the current length of my nails, which is pretty long, I have not cut them. It's been like slightly over a month. It was right before I went on a trip in July that I cut my nails last. I don't like cutting my nails. I don't know, I guess it's one of those ADHD brain things where you're like, oh, that's a repeating task, I'll have to do it next week, so we might as well skip this week, who cares? Similar to all other kind of cleaning and maintenance tasks, which I also struggle with. So hopefully this can make it a little bit more fun. And maybe I'll keep up with the task more often. My nails are actually in surprisingly good shape. For being as long as they are. I feel like normally I've broken one by now. I'm starting to get some kind of snaggy bits, so it's definitely time to cut them. Oh yeah, you can definitely see I'm starting one here. I don't know if y'all can see. I can negotiate where the camera is. Getting a little bit of a snag there in that one. Almost. You can sort of see that. But anyways, yeah, we're just gonna kind of see how this goes as an experimental video. Kind of a funny thing to try and cut my nails like directly on top of a table instead of into the trash, but we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so I guess let's jump into the first part of it. And my little box here of my nail supplies, and this is in an old box. Let's see, wait, do I need to turn this? There we go. Let's see, it says here, julep. This is funny looking at it. There we go, I'll just look at it in real life. Julep. So this brand, actually I think somebody bought it and it did come back, but it's like really different now and it doesn't do nail stuff, at least the last time I looked. But it used to be, way back when I was in college, kind of my last year, I had an internship that paid pretty good and I had disposable income for like the first time ever. So I started getting these little subscription boxes from Julep. I can't quite remember, I think it was maybe like at 20 bucks a month and you got like 3 nail polishes each time, so that was pretty good. The nail polishes on their own were kind of expensive. They were like $14 each and they're not very big. This is one here. They're these like tiny bottles that are only, what is that, 0.27 fluid ounces. Whereas like, here's like the SE base coat I have right now and it's, let's see, what is that? 46 fluid ounces, so like almost double. And then of course SEs are much cheaper, they're like $8. Or they've probably inflated severely, I guess, over the past few years, but I haven't bought any new nail polish in a really long time, so I wouldn't know. But anyways, so I started using these little boxes, and I've never really found something that I was working better to store all my little nail supplies ever since then. So I've just kept using it. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is funny to just like do this out in the open here. It's also funny because I have to hold this at a weird angle. Let me just try right onto the table, that might be better. Then y'all can see better. Here we go. I'll just sweep off the table afterwards and it'll be fine. There is a bit of a storm coming up, so maybe if we're lucky we'll get some thunder on the camera. Or some rain sounds. So far it's just getting really cloudy, so we'll see if the actual storm makes it. It's been super rainy here lately. Which I usually take over the alternative of it being blazing hot and totally sunny. It's still pretty hot though, don't get me wrong. Hopefully this isn't totally disgusting. Alright, fantastic. Piece of mail here. Scoop these up. Go. And I brought my trash over here, so don't worry, I'm not throwing these on the floor. Alright, that's that cleaned up. I think I left one in here, but we'll find that later. Alright, now we'll go in with the nail file. I used to have nice ones of these, but they've been kind of used up. Oh yeah, I even had this nice one from Julep, but it's not very grainy anymore. Used it for too many years, so now I just have like a 100 pack of these cheapos. Move this out of the way so I can hold my hand flatter. Problem is that I also have to see what I'm doing. I just watch over the camera. It's kind of hard to do. Keep this more centered. Wrong way. My camera display here's a mirror image, and I am very awful with those, so that's why I keep running off in the wrong direction off screen. I can barely keep my right and my left straight at the best of times. Wrong way. There's a little bit of thunder. You probably can't hear, that was still pretty far away. Y'all have to tell me what the weather's like at where y'all are at. Some places are starting to go fallish already. And that's still pretty far away from me. And I guess on the other side of the world, it is just coming up to be springtime. Or probably still in the depths of winter. I don't know. What is this map to? This would be, I guess, this would be February. Right? Yeah, December, January, February, June, July, August. But about to come out the other side anyways. Or maybe you already have. Where I live, February is usually the worst month for winter. Not always the coldest though, but I think it's just the worst weather. Kind of similar to August, I guess, frankly. I guess it's also just when you get really sick of the current season and you are ready to move on to the next one. It's funny, this nail started growing in a really weird shape. And it's the hazards of letting your nails grow so long, I guess. Well, nothing I can do about that. It will grow back into a normal shape before long, I'm sure. I'm not exactly a nail expert, but I think I worked out the correct way to file your nails without destroying them. Almost. I know you're never supposed to like go back and forth, but that's the only real rule I know about. There we go. All right. Now, it's like to, at this point, go underneath, get all the there's always some nail dust that accrues down there from filing. Oops. Running off the screen again. This way, here we go. much there today. Just gonna go with the buffer. Alright. And the last thing is to do the cuticle pushing. This bit. It's kind of funny. There we go. Keep your thumb flat. Frankly, I suck at pushing cuticles. And I haven't touched mine for a month, so of course they're terrible. We're gonna call that good enough. And move on. And now we have nice, reasonable nails. So, before we do anything else, I'm going to go wash my hands to get off any remaining like dust and general oils before we put on our base coat. Alright, I'm back. Sorry that it is much brighter now, but I had to turn on the overhead because it's gotten a little too dark for me to actually see what I'm doing. And unfortunately we don't have an in-between between this, honestly this light is not even that bright, it just appears that way in the camera because we're like directly underneath it. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and apply our base coat now, which what I have is this Essie, which I just grabbed because it was what was available at the drugstore at the time that I needed a new one. So this one is called Strong Start, and I don't really have any remarks about it. It seems to work fine. I wouldn't say it's like fantastic, but yeah, it works fine. Does the job. So we're just going to apply a thin base coat here, everywhere. What I do like about this base coat is that it does dry pretty quick. Here we go. Which I always feel like it's the worst part is if you get a slow drying base coat. It's like, what are we doing here? Alright, and I used to like go whole hog and wrap the tips and all that, but I don't know, I just simply can't be bothered with that anymore. Maybe if I was doing it for like a fancy occasion, but I don't really do many of those. As you can tell, I am right-handed. I haven't actually painted my nails in a while, so my left hand is extra confused about what it's doing. I always like wipe it in the wrong direction and have to turn it over and increase the complexity for myself. I always get like grand ideas about doing nail art and stuff, but for one thing my hands are like super shaky, and then for the other my left hand is just highly unskilled. Okay, there we go. Alright, now we can do the fun part of picking out a color. So I have my big box here of all of my julep colors. Get this and frame it. through this whole box today. Put that one away. Then I always have like one extra. I have one more than fits in this box. It's so close to perfect. Let's see. So I was thinking about this color, nice brick red. It shows up a bit pinky. Where'd my camera go? It's I don't know, this is like not quite how the color appears in real life. But that's that. Ooh, this might have dried out. It's still in there. I just can't hear the little shaky thing shaking. Okay, it started in there. But anyways, that is that one. And this is a little more like, it's not quite this bright. It's a little more of a dustier color, and it's a little more redder, not quite this orange. It is a little bit orange. It's like I said, it's kind of a muted brick red is how I think of it. But I always like this one for like end of August, beginning of September. I like to keep like reserve some for certain seasons, just so they feel a little bit special. So yeah, I was thinking of doing one of these reds. I have these like dusty pinks also. These all are settled a bit. It's probably not like a very relaxing thing to look at. Watch me violently shake this little bottle. There we go. So yeah, we have this sparkly one. Oh yeah, you can really see the hollow on that. So that one's nice also. It's a little less like, this looks really like flesh toned. It's a little more like pinker in reality. Oops, that was probably an ugly noise. This is a nice shiny red. I don't know if that's the vibe for today. I got a piece of wood grain on my nail. There we go. Then I've got like a super dark red here, which this is more of a... Hello. This is more of a like a winter color to me, so probably not that one today. And then we're getting into like the pink pinks. This is like a Barbie pink. This, in my opinion, is a July color, so the season has passed for it and I missed it. This is a nice red. I always think of this as a football color. My college football team is red, so I like to wear this nice kind of metal fleck red color to football games. Not that I really go to football games anymore, but back when I was in college and I first got this color, I used to wear it for that reason. But I'll probably pass on that one today. So we've got another pink. I think this is actually the exact same color. I have a couple of duplicates just because of like buying things in sets, and occasionally the rest of a set you would want, even though it had one color you already had. So I have like 2 duplicates for that reason. And we have this very light pink with a gold shimmer, which is very pretty, but this is obviously more of a spring color, so we will not be using it today. Where can I put this? There we go. another super dark red. That will be for later in the fall. And I have another super bright pink. This is the bottom layer. What even is this? I can't tell. I'll put my nail under there because it's still slightly wet. This is another super dark color though, so whatever it turns out being, it's supposed to be red in this section, but it doesn't look that red to me. So who knows? But then this is another kind of like berry color. Oh yeah, this one is super pretty. This dark one, it's like a shimmery dark color. So later in the fall, we'll be returning to these dark reds. Let's see the pinks. This one below. I keep these like vaguely ordered, but as you can tell, that only works so well. All right, and then my dusty reds. What app? Oh, there it is, way over here, where I can't see it. It doesn't really fit in the dusty reds area, but I guess that's where it came from. Frankly, I can't remember. Yeah, we've like co-opted the bright reds. I don't know. So, I think I will go ahead and do my brick red. Take the whole thing. Oop. String here that's trying to end my life. Alright, so go ahead with this one. Give it a really good shake. Okay, there we go. I got the little ball to come out. I don't know if y'all can hear that. Oh no, I got caught somewhere again. But anyways, that should be enough. I try my hardest to keep these coats really thin because these polishes are pretty old by this point and they get kind of thick and a little hard to manage sometimes. Okay. No, I was scared at first this was going to be more dried up, but it's actually fine. Come on. Here we go. Now for adventures in left hand. There we go. wants to regret that later. All the way, there we go. Oh. Ooh. That one got a little messy, but oh well. So that is coat number 1. I don't know, I almost feel like I could get away with a 1 coat, but there's a few thin patches, so we'll give this a few minutes to fully dry, and then I'll be back with the second coat. Alright, see you soon. Alrighty, back for coat number 2. Random piece of debris. Shake this up again for good measure. I guess I never actually checked. Yeah. Good to go. Squeaky. Good enough. Can't stroke too many times. There we are. I guess I should have put something down over the table. I'm gonna be having my hand flat on it like this. Think of that for next time. And I got it. Made a little mess of that one. There we go. Not too bad. See if the left hand is up to snuff. Last one I put some gross texture on, you'd be like, oh, you can't see. But yeah, we shouldn't have gone over that again. Top coat should probably take care of that, but so I always have to resist the temptation to go back over that last time. It never does turn out the way you want it to. Go. Touch that with my arm. I don't think I did any damage though. Go, last one. Stand. Alright, we'll call that good. Alright, that's that. Now we'll let this dry pretty good. Smudge here. I guess that's from the first coat. Alright, but yeah, we'll let this dry, and then we'll be back for the final top coat. Alright, back for the final phase now for the top coat. And this is another Essie. Oh, someday I'm gonna learn how this camera works. There we go. Yeah, so this is another Essie, which I just got for the same reason of it was there at the Walgreens when I needed to get a new one. So this is the Good to Go, and it is a quick dry top coat. This is like, I mean, it's fine. It's not the best one I've used, but it is a quick dry. That is the only type of a top coat I will use. I am not gonna mess around with something that is going to take a million years to dry. It already takes so long to like do your nails because you have to wait for so much drying in between. This one is kind of running out a little bit. You can kind of see, I have to tilt this so much, but it's kind of hard to like get in there when it's unscrewed all the way already. So I'll have to buy a new one before too long. That is kind of the annoying thing about like, this is like halfway full. I have to like screw this all the way down to really get in there, or else like really kind of finagle it. But that's just kind of the way nail polish is. go. All right. Ooh, my computer went in low power mode, so it's gonna be probably sleeping the screen constantly, but oh well. What is that? Oh, it's just a shadow. Thought I was about to paint something into my nail. Gross. I guess that wasn't dry enough. You can see I like pulled it out. This will focus for me. Kinda made it yucky. Alright, this is getting a little bit thick also. So perhaps it is just time to replace it for multiple reasons. Oh yeah, you can see on there, right? You actually can't see, but some of the color came off and stuck to that. Just have to make sure we get enough on all our subsequent tries here. That is another thing I hate. Doing the top coat is always the most frustrating part because you can just ruin all your work if you don't do it good. And if you do it good, then you don't really notice any difference. Let's see if this will fix the janky part I did on this nail before. Yeah, so you see that? Oh, there we go. Kind of fixed most of that uneven texture that I got on that thumb on the last round. Alright, well the rest of these are going fine, so I guess it was just a one-off that that pointer finger had such a blunder. I think I just did that one. Watch back the camera afterwards and see if I missed one. Alright, that was a thick coat. Might take forever to dry. This took me longer than usual with all the cameras setting up and all. So now I'm like pushing up against whether this will have time to dry fully, like all the way through before I go to bed, or if I will just have sheet creases in my nails tomorrow. Wouldn't be the first time. Alright, that is that. So there is the final result. Might have to do a small touch up on this. I guess it's not a horrible mistake. Oops. There we go. You can kind of see it's just, if I can get things centered, it's just a little like sloppy looking. But it's not like an obvious chip or anything. So I probably won't be able to bring myself to care about it. I guess that is it for this evening. Nails are looking much better than they did when I started. So, guess I will see you guys in the next video.